is when she suggested that I try another method of emptying my bladder. One more thing. She said, after the bladder enhancement, I had to empty my bladder using a tube, a stoma, a hole would be poked in my abdomen, and I had to use a tube to empty my bladder. So that too worried me, because naturally you empty your bladder according to the gravitation, downwards. So if you were to put a tube and empty, and I gave an example, if I were to put a hose and empty water from a pail, not all the water will come out, so there will be retention. So, these are the questions which I asked. And then only she said that, okay, maybe we can try another method, which is clean intermittent catheterization. So that involves me inserting a catheter into my bladder and emptying every 4 or 5 hours as it builds up. So, and when I opted for that, I'm glad that I opted for that. So when I tried this method, after 6 months, I went for check again, and at the X-ray department, when they doing the ultrasound, I asked the doctor quickly, what is the size of the cortex? She said, it looks normal to me. So then I thought to myself, well, the decision that I made, luckily that I asked all these questions, to the doctor. If I had not asked, and if the doctor had not listened to me, taken my views and opinions into consideration, I would have ended up having a bladder enhancement, and maybe I wouldn't have this added number of years, that I've survived. So these are the things which I think we have to also look into. The patient. There are many patients who are well informed, and before a consent is made, I think the doctor has a duty to inform as much as possible. I think there is no harm and no worry about too much information being told to patients, because people are, I think, becoming aware of their, not only of their, the how their bodies function, and they have a right to know also. So I think you have to make sure that they form, a consent based on enough information, and this two-way communication, two-way exchange of info is vital, which I think, which will be good for the medical field as well as the legal field. And I think one more point, an extra point, medical negligence. I think the cases on medical negligence being brought to court is on the rise. Why? Because people are becoming more aware of their rights, and more, with the internet and with so much medical information being simplified, people are aware of what's happening to their bodies. So this is what I would like to share. Thank you.
I think she has brought up a very, very relevant point. And those of you who are going to start practicing, remember this one thing, which also I sometimes fall into, and I must confess sometimes. I see this patient, if I explain to her this problem, she won't understand. And therefore, it's too much. No point me explaining to her. Never, ever fall into that trap. And sometimes I don't explain because I think she won't understand even if I explain to her. But that's a terrible trap that you mustn't fall into.
Thank you. Is there any other question from the audience? Any questions? No? Does any of the panelists want to add anything to the discussion?
Just to say this, some of the doctors will end up as witnesses in court, being cross-examined. You have to swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Sometimes you have to tell, my patient suffered such an injury, the lawyer on the other side may not believe it. But you must be ready to defend your findings. But sometimes you believe the patient, your examination shows these are the findings to make. But you may be proven wrong later. Let me tell you a true story. F.E. Smith QC, who later became Lord Birkenhead, the Lord Chancellor, was cross-examining a lady who said that after a motor vehicle accident, she had difficulty in raising her arm. So F.E. Smith QC cross-examined her. And he asked her, please show how far you can raise your arm. And she showed like this. And he said, before the accident, how far could you raise your arm? So, doctors must learn the art of cross-examination. But it may not help, because maybe in a medical setting, the patient may get away with it. You can't learn. It's very important. But I wish you all the best, whether it's in medicine or not. I hope one of you become a stand-up comedian and make life better for all of us.
Thank you to all the panelists. And now I'll hand the ceremony back to our MC.
Okay, thank you very much to all our speakers. I'm sure all of you enjoyed the discussion, and I believe now we have a greater insight of the medical legal issues in Malaysia, particularly doctor-patient relationship. So put your hands together again for our speakers today who took the trouble to come here on Saturday morning to share their knowledge and experiences. So now I'd like to call upon Ms. Hao Sijie, the Director of LawMed Challenge, to present token of appreciation to our speakers today. Thank you to Prof. Pulindran Arumugam from Faculty of Medicine. Thank you also to Mr. P.S. Ranjan from Ranjan & Co. And Ms. Sharon Kaur from Faculty of Law. And also thank you to Mr. Lam as the moderator. Okay, now we shall take 5 minutes break, and then after this we shall proceed to the prize giving ceremony.